lieutenant governor didn't go over the percent. I mean, that's not. But it was. So. Not lost, they're just half those change. Yeah. You had a lieutenant of the. All of them. You're like, now I said, okay, yeah, so. Get better at that.
Okay, are we ready to get on to our next segment? I don't think we have anybody joining us on Zoom, but we will record this. What? We're being watched. I know it's following me. You can see eyes. Oh, by the way, we are playing with new technology this weekend. This is new. It's not brand new, it's a refurbished one. So every year we do have club leadership education per club fees that we charge each club. And for the last couple of years, we had collected more than we've had expenses going out for CLE. So we put those dollars in reserve and that goes to help purchase equipment like this. So trying to use our district dollars as effective as possible. All right. So let's talk specifically to start things off with some district resources. And I think I've been introduced a couple times this weekend, so you know where to find me, you know who I am. Maybe what you don't know is the district office really is a home office. Because it is in the northeast corner of my home. It's a converted bedroom that I put into the district office. So that's where when you talk to me and I'm emailing you, that's where that's coming from.
Saves money, like it.
We also have a storage unit in Bellevue where we keep, so some of the items that I brought this weekend, like our banners, those will be kept in storage. They're not just taking up a corner of the office. And we've had that for a number of years. And then of course, emails, phone, text, that's all ways to get a hold of me. At district convention, that Friday afternoon, the current lieutenant governors and lieutenant governor-elects will meet, and I'm not sure, I remember for sure what time we have that tentatively. It's like maybe 1:30, something like that. But we'll meet, and at that point in time, I will have name badges for you and also business cards. But we usually wait to do that at district convention, and that way I can lump everything together and not have individual charges for that. So who are we? Well, we know we're Nebraska-Iowa, right? More times than not, though, when we're registering for something with Qantas International, we will come up and see first the K number. Our K number for the district is 16. We were founded January 6th, 1920. So Emily talked to you about when Qantas International was founded. We weren't too far behind them. So we are one of the older districts globally. The district board, we are made up of 6 officers and 6 regional trustees. So we've already kind of introduced you to the regional trustees yesterday. Our 6 officers are our immediate past governor, our current governor, our governor-elect, our vice governor, district treasurer, and district administrator. So that's your 12-member board in action. Our leadership team also includes, in addition to the board, but the lieutenant governors, the key positions, and district committee chairs. Each of you should have gotten, when you came in, the leadership directory. Emily, do you have that one? That's okay. Your leadership directory, or I'm gonna turn the page. If you're like, well, who is that list of people? Well, your leadership directory also gives you our service leadership programs. So Ann, we talked a minute ago, how do we get started with the K kids? Well, here's contact information. Who are those key people? Those key positions? I'm looking at page 12 and 13. Key position is anyone that Qantas International says your district will have. So the key positions are the ones that international are seeing as really key to your district, having someone in that leadership position. Standing committees and chairs, those are the ones that are either in our bylaws to have, or they're special appoint each year by the governor. That's your leadership team. And for this coming year, we'll get a new one out as well with the new leadership team. Communication. With the leadership team, there's also going to be some phone calls and texts and that kind of thing. For the most part, how we communicate district-wise and international-wise will be by email. That's kind of that mass, quickest way to get to everybody. Encourage members, when you're visiting the clubs, encourage members to make sure they're providing the email address. We don't have email addresses for everybody. And when we do the club leadership education, especially when we talk to secretaries, do not put in a new member without an email address. I mean, pretty much everybody has email anymore. Because without that email address, we can't contact them. You all can't contact them. So that's important to have that, and also to keep that information current. So what happened previous to last night, when I was trying to get a hold of Jason to invite Carroll Club members to join us, it was an old email that was in the system. Now, I was able to get a hold of Lieutenant Governor Linda, and she happened to have the current one, so I contacted him, we got that updated. But that's just a key example. It would have been a really sad thing if they didn't join us last night, because, hey, they added to our party. When we talked about letting new members know, let them also know that newsletters and announcements come with membership. We use Constant Contact as kind of our bulk email subscriber or emailer. You can't unsubscribe to it. And I will off and on get an unsubscribe with reason listed. I did not sign up for this. Well, you kind of did. It comes with your membership. But if you're not told that, I didn't sign up for this. Why am I getting this? So we're encouraging our club secretaries or anybody that signs up a new member, let them know they are going to get emails. Now, I promise from the district level, I can't control international emails, but I promise from the district level, we will not bombard your email box. I try to limit it to general membership wise, no more than one a week. If I do 2 a week, it may be the front end of the week, back end of the week. Now, as lieutenant governors, you might get a few more than that, but we're going to try to keep that to a minimum. And that middle one there, the other advantage of email is members will get perk spots and partner emails. Who knows what perk spots and partner emails are? Few people? Okay. Qantas International does have partners with businesses. And some of those businesses and organizations have offers, special deals that you as a Qantas member can get. That's what we're talking about with perk spots. Those come out occasionally, and a lot of times those go into my junk mail. Even though I have Qantas International marked as this is not junk mail, those perk spots depending on the level you've got your junk spam filter will go in there. So if you're not getting those, check your spam folders, your junk folders. There's some good things in there, and members need to know you do have benefits that comes with your membership.
Lisa,
Yeah,
constant contact also gets the junk,
constant contact goes to junk as well.
so you have to put in there the district into your, if you're at Bob, put in your address book or any other address you have.
Yes,
Otherwise, it'll automatically go.
you'll automatically go in, and that happens. That's a good point, Gary. Thank you. When I send out newsletters, sometimes my own emails myself will go to the junk mail. And so if you're not getting it, check your junk. And as Gary mentioned, there is a way, depending on your email provider, you can go in and flag it, it's not junk.
Lisa, just
Yes,
that reiteration of, to the club secretaries of keeping the emails current, because I have one club, small club. I just sent around an email the other day, and I tried to send it to like 2 or 3, members, leaders from each club. And, there's one in there, the guy is a retired banker, but it still has his Security Savings Bank email address in there. And I know he was a banker and then he lost interest, so he quit, and little banker joke there. Yeah, he still has and I know he hasn't been, hasn't worked for that bank
work there,
for
okay, yeah.
well over a year, probably 2 years, but it still has a bank email address.
Okay. Do you have his new email, or you don't?
I don't, but yeah, I'll
Okay.
get it.
Yeah, but yeah, that is important. We preach that from the district level. If you can preach that from the division level, maybe at some point in time it happens, that's great.
And where is it updated at? You know? Engage, right?
Engage.
Right.
We'll get to that in a second. Real quick on newsletters, as we talked, constant contact is how we send those out. On a monthly basis, you will get the district news and announcements, and that's the Kiwanian. That's kind of the district viewpoint, what's going on. The news from around the district is the club share. These are roughly monthly. I will admit, with everything going on in the district, I've fallen a little bit behind the last couple months. So hopefully this coming week, expect a bigger club news. We'll do some club shares, because there's a ton of good things going on. Like I said, that's just kind of my bad not getting to it. Both the district newsletter, the Kiwanian, and news from around the district, every member gets, unless they've unsubscribed or they haven't provided an updated email address. They get those. The club officer news, the buzz, goes out routinely, depending on when we have announcements that clubs need to be aware of. So that's not monthly. There's roughly 4 or 5 of those a year that go out. Those go to club officers only. This is what I can tell you. Every member gets those top 2. I'm not going to reinforce those to you, because you know those go to every member's. When I send out the club officer news, I will try to specifically email those again to you all as lieutenant governors. Because I think it's important for what we're sharing at the district level. Hey clubs, you need to know this, as well. So you're not blindsided. If we announce something and a member comes up and says, hey Lori, what the heck is this about? You can go, okay, well, we know about it. So those are the times when you can step up and forward that information, or if you're visiting a club, reinforcement, those are going on. District links. It's not just email. We got a website. We have a YouTube channel, and these that we're recording this morning will go on the YouTube channel. When we have club leadership chats, those go on there. We got a Facebook group. And that's an opportunity for clubs to share what they've got going on. We have Instagram. I'm not a huge Instagram user, but we do have Instagram. And then Zoom for virtual meetings. The monthly lieutenant governor meetings with the governor, be Zoom. And as we talked about last night during the division council meeting, that district Zoom is available to you as lieutenant governor as well. If you need to do a division council meeting, or if you just like, hey, I need to touch base with club officers, it's a distance, chat with me, we can figure that out. You also have a lieutenant governor page on the district website. On the resources page, under the resources tab, lieutenant governors, this is a list that you're gonna have. Now, if you visit that site today, you're gonna see the slides, the PowerPoints, and information from Lieutenant Governor training last year in Fremont. Don't expect these up on Tuesday. It may not even be this coming week, but hopefully sometime within this next month, that's gonna be transitioned. And the slides from this weekend, the PowerPoints from this weekend, links and different things will be up on that Lieutenant Governor page. So you can keep learning, sharing, and have a resource. And if there's something specific that's not on the page that you would like to see, let me know. We can do that. Oh, I just talked about that. I had my slides. Let's chat a little bit more about the website. How am I doing on time, Emily? Okay. All right, so we just talked about the resources tab. Clubs have education. And that's where they're gonna find information on the club leadership education. If they need to register for that, the registration links, all of that's gonna be on the education page. Under the recruitment and retain, there's a ton of information. The new member applications on there. We have information on the membership boosts. And one of the virtual meetings that we will have coming up, we will have Michelle Musgrave, who's our district membership chair, come on and talk about membership boosts, how the district can help out. So there'll be information on that, but there's information that the clubs can share on that. And then more club resources. You have in your notebook the Kiwanis brands for international and the district. What happens if you go to a club? I'm sure you all there know when I say this. You go to a club and see a bird cage. What's the bird cage?
Oh, there.
And the old Kiwanis logo.
Yes.
Now, we don't expect that if you have a pancake wagon that you haul around your pancake supplies, and it has the old globe behind the Kiwanis logo, we're not asking you to replace the logo. But if you put out a newsletter for your club, it should have the current Kiwanis branding on there. And again, a copy of that's in the notebook, and it's also on this more resources page. There's various links to get there. The KI links to the website, that middle one there, that gets, one of the questions I get asked a lot is, okay, so our club has insurance, right, for events. How do we get there? Well, after you go here and here and here and here and here and maybe here on the international website, you finally get there. Or you go to the district website and you go to Kiwanis membership links and it says club insurance. And you can click in there and get that form. So I would just ask, as lieutenant governors, you familiarize yourself with these tabs that the clubs have. So the club asks you, you go, oh yeah, it's up on the website. You got that. All the links, we talked about Lieutenant Governor resources, and then the newsletters. All the newsletters going back, let's see, I think it was 3 years ago we started the new website. All the newsletters, monthly newsletters for the past 3 years are up on the website. Each month I go up and post a link to the newsletter. The news from around the districts is up there. And the club officer buzz is up there as well. So if you need a back copy of something, you can go up and check them. Couple more tabs. Under governance, find our bylaws. You can find, excuse me, no, that's about us is the first one. So the underline the hunt. So you can find out more the district map. Someone has to go to district map. You can see the district map there. You can see a club listing. The club listing has not only just the club's name, but it has the division name. It has the region name, and it has the club charter date. So that information's there. Just kind of go down and see what we have there, the district calendar, all good information. The next tab over there that's highlighted is governance. And we've got the current district board listed there. Board minutes. If you want to say, hey, what happened at that first board meeting in October? You can go up there and read that. The bylaws. Want to check out our current bylaws. And again, just going down the list, and yes, strategic plan, we do have a strategic plan. If you want to find out more what the regional trustees do and lieutenant governors do, there's some job descriptions there. And forms, that's an important one. Because for our recent regional meetings, you heard me say yesterday, the clubs are asked to send their delegate forms in. That's under forms. Candidates filing, that's under forms. On your lieutenant governor page, you have a reimbursement form that you can click to get into to submit your mileage for this weekend. So those are all under forms. That mileage reimbursement is under forms as well. Probably the website menu that changes the most is activities. And this one's actually a little bit outdated already. You can see our band camp and different things up there. But this one kind of changes through the year as we go with the activities. So the scholarships, the Key Club, and CKI, that'll pop off. We'll start doing more with district convention. Now we're getting there. So that one will change throughout the year. We have things going on. You've heard us talk a little bit about foundations. That's that last tab that's highlighted there. Check those out as well. There's information, several pages for the district foundation, and a couple also for the children's. And you've heard us talk about that. You're going to hear more from both of those groups when we do our virtual follow-ups as well. Any questions on those?
Is everything on there in front of a password, or do you have to use a password?
No, none of this that we went over is password.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. You will need a password when you go to the Kiwanis International site. There is a ton of information available at Kiwanis.org. To get into member resources, though, every single one of those boxes up there, you click in once, and then you've got another 20 options. To get to those, you do need to have a password.
For each one.
Not for each one, but to log in once. Okay, so as a Kiwanis member, you have a login. You're gonna hear us say engage. That's kind of the same thing. You're gonna log in with your email that you have on file. Hopefully it's the current email. And then if you haven't logged in before, you will need to create a password. Once you've got that password, you have access to anything here. Whether it's leaders, Just said, you can see the topics up there. Risk management, and we talked about, hey, where's that club insurance? Well, you click on risk management and go down. So explore those, encourage members to explore those. There's a lot of good information up there. The leaders page, again, you got multiple options to get in. If you want information on some of the things that were in your notebook, go into division leaders. That's where a lot of this information rests, plus a lot more. Once you log in to members, let me go back here a second. So right here in this top one that says log in to engage. If you're a club secretary, you probably already are familiar with that, because that's where you go in to do your monthly reporting. But as lieutenant governors, this is also the place where you can go in, once you have your email and your password set up, you can go in and access your club information. Now, I don't know if this is a prize or not, but Mike Miller was the first one to submit his contact information and acceptance form. So your prize is, I stole your personality and I impersonated you for today. But as Lieutenant Governor-elects, you have all been reported to international, so you all have access to this already. Once you log in to engage, you will come on, and the very first thing you see up here is going to be your club name. You've got a little down toggle right there. You can switch between your club, being a club member, and the district level division. So if you're not seeing division information, like I said, just go up to that corner and switch down to division. And here's your list of things you have. And I think our focus got readjusted from yesterday, because that just means it looks blurry from my angle. Anything in here, you've got the go on the side. District reporting off here on the side is what I clicked on to get this list to show up. One of the items that I went into was club officer reporting. And my club is so great, they said, yeah, you do what you need to do. But hey, how do I get a hold of my clubs? Who are my club officers? Well, I clicked on club reporting. I clicked on Wahoo area, and bam, there's my list. We talked yesterday about, is it important to get your monthly reports in? How do they get used? You have access to them. And I would encourage you, because we came back, we saw that list, there's a couple places that say monthly reports. There's a couple different ways you can view these. I pulled up the monthly review right here, and you can see which clubs, if there's a little our magnifying glass, you can click on those and bring up that month's report. If there's nothing there, that means there's no reports filed for that month. And as you can see, I didn't pull up Wahoo area because you wouldn't see, they're not every month, but I'll get caught up on those. But click on those. If you're gonna talk to a club, hopefully they've got something for you to click on here. And you can go in and take a look and say, what did they do last month or the month before that? You've got access information, you've got access to that. I also wanted to make sure you knew there's other district resources. The foundation, we're going to learn more about, but it's important to know we work with the foundation. We are so thankful they sponsored that great dinner last night, supper, whichever you want to call it. We're so thankful for, are we going to have lunch or dinner? I don't know today. We're so thankful for the grants they give to clubs, so you can do more service projects. Did you know that the foundation also has a disaster relief fund? That's fairly new within the last 5 years, maybe. Kurt, that sound about right? 5, 6 years?
Yeah, we started with floods out in Nebraska.
Yeah, exactly. So what used to be, oh, we have a disaster in our district, we need to figure out, let's send information out, let's figure out how we can maybe help them out. A disaster relief fund is now established. A club can specifically give towards that, and then once it happens, we can immediately go into action. Jan Birch, Des Moines area has been kind of the chair from the Nebraska side of that. That's a cooperative effort between the district and the foundation to make those happen, but it is available. We already talked about the leadership team in the leadership directory. Get to know who your resources are. We talked about that toolbox. Yep, you got plenty of humans in the toolbox to make things happen. Here's some great resources as well. We have 2 fantastic leadership teams that work as support network for you. The Past Lieutenant Governor's Committee works to help out in general, be a resource for district officers as well as lieutenant governors. This year, newly rolled out is a mentorship program. Brian, anything specific you want to say to that other than hey, let's create some more networks?
Yeah, as a newly elected lieutenant governor and as a possible continue-on lieutenant governor, you're gonna get a call, an email, or text, one of the above, from your mentor. And this mentor was nominated to me through the system. And what I've asked them to do was to contact you and ask 4 things. The first thing they're gonna ask is, what has your division been doing? What is it doing? What is it going to do? And what can we do to assist you? Those 4 things. I call it the 4-minute drill, and that's it. That's all it takes. There's gonna be no report given to me by anybody. So this is an informal type of concept. Tim, I don't know if you want to continue this under your governorship. You can trash can it if you want, but this is something we were thinking about for a long time. We're trying to get the morale up and at least make you lieutenant governors think we care. No, we do care. Yeah, I think relax. Looking forward to it. Thanks. Okay.
Thank you, Governor. And then the Past Governors Committee. This is the committee of every past governor that's still active in the club. And we've got, looking around the room, we've got several on that committee. Their primary role is to support district-wide efforts. They help out with new club opening, membership growth and retention, but again, they're a resource. All of these resources help us district-wide do a good job. I've thrown a ton of information at you. Questions? Byron?
I have one comment that surprised me. On the insurance part that's included for every club. Somewhere along the line, we decided to get an alcohol license and sell beer at barbecue running. It was costing us, this is in Iowa, not Nebraska with this, but in Iowa, you had to get your rail insurance, costs us $300, $400, when insanely high, it was gonna be like $800 one year. We're scrambling around, and then I discovered that that is included in your insurance. So the last few years, just go to KI, call them, they send us Thailand.
Yep.
We get nothing.
Good
So,
point. Any other
alcohol related events?
Any questions specific to district resources or information I presented?
I am just gonna mention Engage is accessible via your phone very well. If you need help logging in today to try to kind of view and look around, I am willing to do that. I think you have not been in there already.
The disaster relief fund, is that for clubs or is that for individual Kiwanis members?
It's for the clubs. So if something comes up, I think the last time we really used it was when Kevin, your neighborhood had some terrible flooding going through. And when the clubs would see a need, these are projects that we could help the community with when the clubs would apply for those funds.
And it's quick.
Yes.
Yeah, it's quick.
That was the reason why we changed it,
Yeah.
because we were always reactionary. And it would take us 2 to 3 weeks after something happened to get something in place. Okay, this is what we're gonna do. Now we need to get the form out to everybody and everybody needs to apply. That's why we changed it. It's now, you pull the form, you apply for it, it goes directly to the committee. It doesn't even go to Lisa. And they can give an approval, and I think it's up to $500, something like that. And, you know, it goes, you know, your preschool got flooded out, they need new supplies to continue. Okay, perfect opportunity.
Tim?
So I just want to give a shout out. Steve Green is the past lieutenant governor's chair. And he just an item of how great people work in Kiwanis. So Kiwanis is having us build a bed for our district convention. So past lieutenant governor has already raised like a couple $1,000 to help do this. You know, nobody, you know, it's just wonderful. I just like to give a little credit out there where it's due. Is shake the tree. So thank you.
Thank you, Tim. All right, I'm gonna turn things over to District Treasurer Kurt. Take it away.
Thank you. We've talked a little bit about numbers already. Just so you're aware that the district not only is a service club who does great things, there's a business aspect of it. And we have an approved budget every year. It's worked on by the finance committee. And then it's approved by the board at the first meeting in October. Usually it's the first weekend in October, the board meets, and that budget gets approved. That budget is a 6-figure budget. Okay, our income from dues alone is about $135,000. Then we add on to that things like the convention, we just had the international presidents visit, things like that. All those items are accounted for in the budget. The finance committee gets together and reviews that quarterly. We talk about where we're at, where we need to be, what we may need to change. We have made amendments to the budget for whatever reason. Something got forgotten, something, you know, whatever. So they do review that and do watch it. There is a line item for governors. So next year, when you're out doing your thing within the divisions, there is some dollars there for you to work with. There's also some money for lieutenant governor-elects. For instance, Lisa mentioned that your expenses this weekend, your hotel room last night, things like that, were paid for. Your mileage to and from today is paid for. We'll talk about that here in a minute. So as lieutenant governors, as lieutenant governor-elects, you know, we've got district convention coming up here in a couple months. There's also some other expenses that will be paid for. And there are different line items. For instance, the convention expenses, those are allocated into the convention line items. That is separate from your division work. There's been some confusion in the past. And I've had questions on, well, if I turn this in, does that affect my divisional work budget? Line items for convention attendance, the leadership conference attendance, things like that, that is separate from your division work. So keep that in mind. Background checks. If you haven't had your current background check, if you need to do that, or if you've just recently done that and not turned in those expenses, that is an allowable item to be turned in as an expense.
$35.
I'm sorry.
It's $35.
Right, 35 through the Kiwanis International, or what is it, Safe Hiring Solutions, whatever it is. So We reimburse at 35 cents a mile. And yes, that is not what you get if you're a business person. But it is more than you would get if you tried to do that as charitable mileage. So, it's not. It can be, a substantial amount depending on how much travel you do, but it's something to help you cover those expenses. Like we talked, the lieutenant governor-elect mileage for this weekend is reimbursable. Mileage for your club visits, division council meetings, club leadership education, if happen to be one of those that has an in-person. And then your mileage for district convention and other special events. And again, those, the division work and the, convention is, those are separate line items. So some of the examples for your division work, copies for your agendas, if you want to do that. If you're giving out a certificate for somebody, that maybe did something special. Meals at clubs meetings. These are allowable expenses, but generally the club should be handling those for you as lieutenant governor. If you're a guest at one of their meetings or one of their functions, you should be on the list of the people that get paid for. If they don't happen to pay for you, then that's an allowable expense. During your installations, if you have trinkets, there's the candy bar installation, script. So you're buying candy bars, that type of thing is reimbursable. There's not a lot of postage goes on anymore, but it is reimbursable if you happen to use postage for whatever reason. And then your mileage to and from clubs, of course. I had one, since I've been treasurer, I've had one individual who, the only mileage that they turned in was 3 trips to the same club. Probably not the thing to do, but. So district convention registration, hotel and mileage. And again, this goes into the district convention budget versus your divisional budget. So don't confuse the two. Don't worry about it when you're looking at your division expenses. These are covered as a line item in the budget. International convention. Of course, this year it's in Manila. It's quite expensive this year. Registration is closed at this point. So there is no other allocations going for this year. Next year, 2027 in Dallas, I would encourage any of you who have the opportunity to go. As a lieutenant governor-elect, let's see, you will be lieutenant governors at that point. So there is an $8,000 pool. You'll participate in that pool up to $1,000. So in other words, if 10 people go, you're going to get 800 bucks. If 6 lieutenant governors go and you have allowable expenses of more than $1,000, you probably get $1,000. Okay, does everybody understand how that works? Okay.
Just for a quick show of hands, just for who's going to international this year?
This year,
Just a curious, yeah.
there's 3 people have committed to go, and that would be Brian, Julie, and Tim. So, okay.
Total of 6 from our district.
So total of 6.
Okay.
And then
have regular members, I mean, people that are.
Well,
in this room.
included in that 6 would be Milford, Lenore, Hannah.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah, but theirs doesn't come out of.
Theirs doesn't come out of the district budget.
Yeah, sure.
With Lenore being on the children's fund, they get really much that direction. So.
Regular for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Manila's just like that.
Well, right, yeah, I'm gonna try and push for, I hope to go next year.
And after last night, I'm guessing that the tickets that were already expensive got even more expensive. For those of you who didn't see the news this morning, Spirit Airlines just locked the door overnight, no questions, no warning. So yeah, there's a lot of people sitting there with tickets on Spirit Airlines. So this is a reimbursement form. This is a fillable form if you get it off the internet. I do need your name, address, Because that's where I'm gonna send the check, so you better come right after me. We need to know what you spent the dollars on. What it was for, where you went for the mileage, and please note that that's two-way mileage. So I had one this year and she caught it and sent me a new one right away. But it is two-way mileage. So, and then that will calculate down to the miles. Down here at the bottom is where you would put in your other items. And when it comes to district convention, rather than trying to put all that on a master bill, a lot of times Lisa will have you pay for it yourself and then turn it in for reimbursement. So that's where you would put this down here at the bottom. Make sure that you sign it. Down here at the bottom. And if you're doing it on the computer, it's really easy to do with Adobe Acrobat. You create your signature and you just paste it in there. It works real well. I've been getting quite a few of them without signatures. Make sure you sign, okay?
So you don't take digital signatures.
We will take a digital signature, yes. Receipts, yes. Haven't got there. I do need receipts. Okay? That is not me picking on you. That's not the district picking on you. We, like I said, we have to operate as a business, and that's an IRS rule. Ooh. Receipts. Lisa has up there the 10th and the 24th of the month. I need to change that. I've switched that to the 8th and the 24th. For some reason, we've had some issues with the post office in getting one particular check where it needs to be by the date it needs to be there. So I've changed that to the 8th and 24th, and that allows me to get that one check out to the individual by the 15th of the month. We had one that it showed up like 3 weeks after the fact. Another one showed up a week after the fact. In fact, the one that showed up 3 weeks after the fact, I reissued the check. And the reissued check got there sooner than the original. So I have changed that to the 8th and 24th for payments. I do process, for instance, the 8th, I generally process that the night of the 7th, so that it goes in the mail on those days. Okay? So don't send me a reimbursement on May 8th at 10 o'clock at night and expect to get a check and go into the next room. Okay? Most of these reimbursements are budgeted and receipts are very important. Like I say, we need to document this stuff. I don't know how many of you people have listened or paid attention to the news. We have recently in Iowa had a rash. I mean, it's getting to be a pretty severe rash of small town city clerks and small county governments where people are getting in trouble because there's expenses that they can't justify because there's no receipts. Where these clerks are using the city or county credit card without receipts. And we don't want to be that organization that gets mentioned in the news. So by giving me the receipt, I can see what it is, like everything, and we've got all of our ducks in a row as far as things like that. As far as meal receipts, if it's at a restaurant, you quite often have to sign, I need both copies. In other words, there's one copy that details, and it's on the back of the form that's in your packet. I believe there's one.
Yeah, great.
So on the back of the packet, back of the form, you'll see where. So you'll get two receipts, one that lists everything that you had with the meal. And one that shows the total tip and your signature. I need a copy of both of those. Okay? Alcohol is not reimbursement. So if you have alcohol on your ticket, please make sure that you adjust for that. As of now, we have not gone to the point of not accepting that receipt. Me, I am an elected official with the county. I cannot even turn in a receipt that has alcohol in it. I have to, when I go to a restaurant, I have to ask the waitress to give it to me in 2 separate receipts, alcohol on one, meal on the other. So. And that's most counties, you talk to most county people, that's the way the counties operate, so. We haven't gone to that point, but yeah, make sure you make that adjustment. What else? There is this in the packet? This page? Reimbursements, division work. Okay, so your division work, we've calculated out $30 per club. So if you have 8 clubs, $30 times 8 clubs, you have $240 to work. We haven't seen a big issue with the redivisioning. We haven't seen a big issue yet. But if we start seeing where $30 a club is just not cutting it, we may have to go back to the finance committee and adjust that. And I understand that, you know, there's more mileage now, because you're traveling a little bit further as a lieutenant governor, but so far we haven't seen a major issue. And I'm probably, yeah, I take each one as on a case by case basis as far as your reimbursements, but generally there's about $30 a club for division work. Any other questions? So
that's your max, right? As you're saying,
case by case, I mean, if you turn in receipts that total, you know, that you turn in 3 and the third one puts you at $5 or $6 over your allotted $30. I'm not pay the whole thing. But then I'm also gonna send you an email saying that you reached your max. So, we've worked within your clubs. We've tried really hard to watch our budget. We have to. Yeah. We just have to. I was gonna mention something. Oh, we also have some lieutenant governors in the past that have not turned in expenses. So that helps, but yeah. I would also ask you that you turn it in on a reasonable time frame, preferably within 30 days. And especially when it comes to reimbursements for district convention, things like that, those need to be turned in as soon as possible. Because we need to be able to compile numbers and come up with a bottom line for that event. But yeah, especially when we get towards the end of the year. We usually cut off about the 10th of October. Anything turned in after that we don't allow type of thing.
Sir, you want to address the question, we've heard this before, well, I'm not going to ask for reimbursement and just dollars I have, just give it to the foundation. Do you want to address that question?
Okay, so if you desire to not pocket your reimbursement, but instead have it go to the foundation, we've had this question before, and that's great. We ask that you turn the reimbursement in, we write you a check, and then you write a check to the foundation. It's a little cleaner as far as the flow. So.
And frankly, because the lieutenant governor who follows you maybe isn't going to be as generous, you're going to budget based on my not turning a lot of expenses and simply.
Exactly. We need to have a good idea of what it actually costs to operate the district. You know, there's a point in time we ended up having to do it here. What was it? It was in Papillion Leaf. Linda Henningson's year, you know, we ended up having to go for a dues increase. And that's because the $15 that we were at that time just wasn't cutting it anymore. But we need to know that, we need to be able to come up with the bottom line numbers, so we know where the district is at.
So would you like to know, even if we hit our budget and we're just gonna take in more money thereafter, would you like to know that these are the expenses that a normal lieutenant governor would normally be incurring? So you could more expensive prepare with the expanded districts going from 5 to 8 and all that sort of. And the extra expense.
Currently, that might not be a bad idea. And I'll just, you know, put them in a separate file type of thing. So yeah, we know that, hey, we had, you know, X number of dollars turned in, but we were able to reimburse, you know, this much of it.
Okay,
So,
that's fine.
yep. A little bit more paperwork for me, but it's probably not a bad idea since we are going through this transition phase.
Just as a rough exercise, that is, we're unfortunately losing club, or we're, so I have. So nine in my division, not big, like the track mileage, but if I go visit all the clubs twice and put mileage, it'd be about 250.
Okay.
So
It was 9 clubs, you have 207.
yeah,
No. When we made the switch over, I actually looked at it and I did an analysis. And because there was questions, well, what about now that we have to travel more, what about going to all? I did an analysis that if we were to pay mileage, 100% of the mileage, I can't remember how I figured it, but, mileage versus the $30 per club, we're actually better off as a lieutenant governor getting $30 per club. I'd have to go back and look at my paperwork to remember exactly how I calculated it. So. Any other questions about budgets? The budget as a whole, I'd be happy to answer those. Shoot me an email if you have any questions, if I can help you with anything.
Thank you, sir.
that's it.
Give me just a minute here to switch things off.